Hello. It's February 14. Happy Lover's Day. Happy Love's Day. If you're not in a romantic relationship, well, love up on yourself. Do something nice for yourself. Treat yourself with the kind of love that you would expect a lover to give you. Alright? That way, you've practiced well what you're about to preach, because it might get to a time where you have to teach the person you love and who loves you how to love you better. So, that being said, I just saw something on Twitter and I thought maybe today is the time to talk about it. It has been in my, shall we say, lists of things to talk about. And what is it? The purity culture. Okay. I know a lot of people have talked about it, but the ones I've seen so far usually talk more about how they have been hurt by the purity culture and all of that. And as much as I understand a little bit what they mean, I think this is a case of not throwing the baby away with the bathwater, right? The bathwater is dirty, but the baby is not anymore. So the purity culture had accumulated some dirt along the way because of the hands that handled it. And like any other thing, if the wrong hands touch it, it becomes toxic, it becomes dangerous. Just like religion. If the right hands handle it, it's amazing. When the wrong people take hold of it, it becomes a major problem. Right? So, I think I want to make an appeal for purity culture. We need purity culture now more than ever because, frankly speaking, we are seeing the opposite of purity culture in our world today. And unless you think that is a good thing, it isn't. I mean, we are in a day where there is a for and against abortion. That is the opposite of purity culture. However it is you want to look at it. Like there is a for and against, something that was not there before. You know? So we know the damages that were caused using purity culture. We can do better. As with any culture, like I said, it gets dirty along the way. But the culture most times actually, is the baby. The bathwater is in the culture. And so throwing the baby away with the bathwater is just what you will be doing with purity culture. If you say, oh, I'm doing away with purity culture because it hurt me and so many other people I know. Is it really purity culture that hurt you, or the people that handled it, that became the enforcers of purity culture? That is the question we should be asking. And now that you are of age, you can make decisions, you're an adult. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to toss out purity culture, or you're going to stand up and say, I see more good in the purity culture and I'm just going to make it better. We're going to do better. We're going to make it better. We're going to bring everybody to the conversation. We're going to talk. We're going to deliberate on how we're going to go with this forward. The central theme of purity culture is that nobody has sex until they get married. You are not found in a compromising situation that might look like you're having sex until you get married. You're not to just be in the company of the opposite sex without chaperones until you are married. The problem with that was people focused more on the girls to maintain purity culture. And that's the thing. People use that to demonize girls. Anytime they find a girl attractive or they think she's too attractive, they use the purity culture to beat her up. They call her names because she's beautiful, because she's beautiful. I'm not even going to go into the details of how beautiful she is. A lot of women had complained that when they were younger, it doesn't matter how baggy and long their dresses were or their skirts were, they still had people shaming them. And you have to understand that if there was no purity culture, they will find another reason to shame you, even if they have to create that reason. So it's not the purity culture that is the problem, but those who use it. Now you can take it back from them and say, you've done enough of harm. Thank you very much. We see how the management of this purity culture has gone with you. Now we are taking it back, considering that we were kind of like survivors of this purity culture. We have every right to take it back and look at what purity culture is holistically. Now, what is holistic purity culture? It's more related to Christianity, although I believe Islam has their own version of purity culture. In fact, every religion has their own version of purity culture. But purity culture itself is more attached to conservative Christianity, as the case may be. So what is purity culture? Like abstinence from sex, reducing your contact with the male gender as much as possible, unless and until you have chaperones who are around to see to it that everybody maintains a healthy distance from one another. No unnecessary touching, no unnecessary hugging. From what I see, I think that is more or less like encouraging men and women to see each other not as sexual beings, but as people. As people. As a person you can have conversations with, you can agree to disagree with, people that you're not seeing them as, oh wow, somebody you can have sex with or that can have sex with you. No, sex is not the conversation, but they want you to think more of this person as a person. So the problem was that they focused more on girls. Now we focus also on boys. It's not a boy or girl thing or a man or woman thing. Everybody has to maintain purity. Everybody. So if women are going to be getting purity rings from their dads, and I don't think it's a bad thing, I think it's maybe the words that are used by the father or what the father says the ring represents. I think it's the kind of conversation a father has with his daughter that determines how she sees that ring. I should think that every princess of every kingdom has a kind of ring or heirloom or jewelry that is given to them by their father. So I think it's the way it's presented. The way it's presented and make it seem like can become either a shackle or a gift to be cherished. You know what they say, that every girl's first love is their father. So the assumption is that your second love will put a ring on it. So if you look at it from that angle, a purity ring from a father, maybe a purity ring is not the word to call it then. Maybe the ring should be called a gift from daddy. Oh, that can be misconstrued as something else. A gift from my father. You understand? To sort of signify that I am so and so's person's, I'm so and so's daughter. Right? sort of indicate that you are so and so person's daughter. Yeah. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. Like I said, it's the presentation and what it represents. And I think it's important that fathers be the one to have a sex education with their daughter. Yes, it's good for the mother to do it, but it's also good for the father to talk to their daughters. The male perspective, how a man thinks, based on his experience and his interaction with other males. And that ring is to remind you that you have a protector in your life. You have a man that loves you and you love him too. He's your father, you are his daughter, and you guys have a healthy relationship. That is on one side. On the other hand, like I mentioned, make it more holistic. Require men and boys to also be sexually pure. But not just about don't do this, don't do that, but have a holistic conversation about what sex is and why you should wait. Like that conversation should be really full and wholesome and informative based on age. Like updating that information every time. I know. Well, I'll just put a pin on it for now. This making a case for purity culture. Let's do better. Guard your hearts with all diligence, for out of it flows the issues of life. Purity culture begins from the heart, really. Yeah, that's where it starts, from the heart. And though that they that know their God, they shall be strong and they shall do exploits. God has not given you the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Shalom.